right. 210. Hey guys, I'm Natasha with No 3210 Podcast. Thank you to Vibe Pod Media for housing and producing, and to Latino Podcast Network for having me on your network. Guys, if you're watching, go listen. If you're listening, go watch. Either way, like, subscribe. You're going to want to see who I have. I have an amazing guest, per usual. So please introduce yourself.
Bamsworth Belly, the amazing guest.
All right. So what is it that you do?
I do a little bit of everything. I rap, I produce, I write, I engineer, I direct a good portion of my videos, along with that guy right there. He's amazing, Roman. What else do I do? That's about it. I'm an uncle.
You're an uncle?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably my favorite thing.
That's your favorite thing?
Yeah.
Your favorite title?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I just moved back to San Antonio.
Welcome back.
Floating around like the last 3 years, so it feels good to be back.
Yeah.
I missed it. Missed being at the crib.
Why'd you leave?
Shit. Originally I was like, you know what? I had I went on a little journey, like in 2017. I dealt with some like mental health shit. It took me like a good, I wouldn't say I like, from 2017 to 2019, I was just like getting myself together. And then in between that time, I had got a job doing solar fields, like solar farms.
Yeah.
And, putting those together, and then I got into surveying, and that took me like kind of far. I moved to Odessa and Midland, and I was out there for like a year, and then I was ready to jump back into doing music, and so like the holidays, like right before 2021, I came back I was bouncing in between. I quit that job and I moved to Houston, and I was back and forth between Houston and San Antonio, and I moved back to San Antonio. It was me and my ex, we had got back together, so I was back here, and I started releasing music again. And then I started wanting more of a budget for stuff, so I was like, I jumped out of the streets like a while back. Like part of like keeping my mental health together was I'm gonna just jump out the street.
Yeah.
Be legit. So I was like, instead of hustling, I'm gonna go get a job again. I already had picked up a trade when I was out there, so I was like, one of my friends that I started doing that kind of work with had got he stayed in it, and he was like, he had the power to like give me a job. So I went out to Florida to work with him, and was just started like investing more into my company. You know what I'm saying? Like myself an LLC, so I could just be a little bit more legit with stuff and start moving and thinking like a business. And I would just go to work to invest in myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was out in Florida, and I would just come back here to shoot videos. I was out there for like 8 months, and then what happened? And then I was ready to come back, but some other stuff happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go to Houston. So I ended up in between that time too. A lot of my family moved to Houston. I've been in Texas by myself like I've been in San Antonio by myself since like 2010, I think. So like just me and my grandma. So my mom lives in Houston, my mom and my little brother, and my sisters lived in New York, and they ended up moving here. So I was like, I like being in Houston a little bit better anyways, because now I got all these nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Get to know. And
I mean, Houston's all right.
It's cool.
Shots fired.
It's not San Antonio, for sure. But I mean, I love Houston too.
Yeah.
And,
so you're originally from New York?
I'm originally from New York, yeah.
What part?
From upstate, from Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, Rochester and Buffalo. I spent some time in the city back and forth. And
yeah, I worked in Brooklyn for a few months.
Yeah.
Well, I started in the Bronx, and then I went to Brooklyn.
What are you doing there?
For COVID, I was a COVID crisis nurse.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Real hero. That's crazy.
No, I just went to work. Yeah, I just went to help. But
but it was hectic over there.
It was
for that.
insane.
Yeah, that was
insane. Yeah. But no, I loved it there. It was beautiful. Yeah, I was in like the Bed-Stuy area.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot different now.
Yeah, the food was fire too.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's some good pizza.
Yeah. So, I guess like what ultimately brought you to Texas then?
Um, so like I've lived a shitload of places. Like, I think like when I was younger, my mom might have been going through something, and we ended up living in Louisiana with my grandmother, and then I was the only person like without like other grandparents, so I stayed with my grandma in Louisiana, and then my mom, like between 4 and 8, my mom went to jail in Jamaica, and when she got out of jail in Jamaica, she set herself up in Houston and came and got me from Louisiana, and I moved back with her. And then we eventually, she met her husband, who's from like a smaller town, her ex-husband, who's from like a smaller town in near Houston. And we moved to New York, and when they were ready back to move to Texas, we moved there. And then somewhere in between that, my grandma moved to San Antonio, and we moved here when she moved. And then I bounced back and forth between Texas and New York for a little while.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was. I've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at the point now where I'm ready to start traveling, like for like leisure.
Yeah.
Because even like when I'm traveling for music, it's like I'm there for whatever
work.
I'm there for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out. So.
Yeah. People don't realize that like when you travel and it's something that like you have a goal in mind, like it's work. It's not like fun.
Yeah.
Can you throw fun in there? Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what got you into, I guess, the music industry?
So I think I always knew I wanted to, like, is what I wanted. One of my uncles, when I was younger, he was like the first person I knew that rapped and like made beats, and he lived in. So when we moved from Texas there, he lived in. We moved to Buffalo originally, and he lived in Rochester. So his mom, which I call her my grandma, but it's like one of my mom's like mentors, you know, type deal. And she, I would go out there like every once in a while to just go to grandma's house. You know what I'm saying? I'll go. She would come pick me up. At Rochester and Buffalo only an hour away from each other, so she would come pick me up, and I'll go over there with her and just be getting on his nerves. He had an MPC machine. I used to mess with it.
Nice.
Yeah, that. And then like that was around the time where like Kanye West that came out, so like he was already like over there like making sample beats and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I always thought Kanye was like super cool. That was probably like when I first started wanting to rap, between like when him and 50 Cent came out. But yeah, so years later, I ain't started rapping until I moved to San Antonio from Waco. So I lived in Waco when I was younger. So it was like my first. I moved there freshman year of high school.
Okay.
And I graduated from here from this school called Port Vita. It's in the Missions. And so when I moved to San Antonio, like the group of kids I was kicking it with, they were all rapping. So like that's when I started rapping. And then eventually I moved back to New York, and by then my uncle had a whole like studio. So I would kick it there. I ended up, so when I went back to New York, I got sent there because, what was it? Oh, I got kicked out, but I was on probation. So, like my aunt offered for me to go there, and I had to wait for my probation to transfer. It transferred. I went over there. She kicked me out, and then I had my own apartment. Like by the time I was 17, through this program. Called the Center for Youth. They gave me an apartment, and they'll give me money for groceries every week or whatever.
Nice.
And I just had to keep going to school. But then I started going to the studio, and I never wanted to leave the studio, so I just stayed at the studio. I moved into the studio out of my apartment. And then, which put me a little bit like deeper into the street, because that was just like the hub where everything was going on. So
yeah.
And that started getting hectic, and I was like, no, I've had this feeling twice. I was like, if I don't move around, I'm gonna end up getting killed. So it was just too much going on. So I had talked to my mom about coming home, and she really wanted me to come home. So I moved back to she was living in Waco, like a little bit outside of Waco, and I moved there, and that went bad quick. And then, so as crazy as, it's like a bunch of little stories inside of one story, but this all makes sense. Like, so when I went back there, my mom ended up kicking me out again. Well, she didn't kick me out, they moved.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up having to be at this shelter, and the shelter I was at was like in the old juvenile. So I went to that other juvenile like 9 times. So it's like,
dang.
yeah. So, and that was the new one. And so like then I just always thought about like now I'm 18 and I'm in juvenile still because I'm at the old juvenile.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shelter. You know what I'm saying? I always thought that was all right. And I ended up moving to some apartments with somebody I met at the shelter. They got an apartment. I was in like a 1-bedroom apartment in the Parkside Village projects, or in the villages, which is across the street from the Parkside Village projects, which was the worst projects.
Yeah.
So it was like pretty much just being in the projects. Those are apartments where like people paying like $50 for rent and shit.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they nicer than the projects, but it's still the project.
Yeah, yeah.
And y'all got some water?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
No?
Yeah.
Rome might have to go. I think we got a cup in the car. But yeah, so I moved into there, and I got the same feeling over there after a while. Like, I just loved fighting when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? So I had already made myself hot, like, beating people up, you know what I'm saying? So, but in that area, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not even from there for real, so it's just like, I seen that coming bad. It was like we had a couple like mishaps happen that I was like, if I don't move around, I'll probably get killed over here too. So,
Yeah.
I had talked to my grandma about going to Job Corps, and she said I could go stay with her if I went to Job Corps. And I went to Job Corps, and I got kicked out of Job Corps. Like, I might have been up there like 3 months, and I got caught with like a little roach and some shake that I didn't even know was like in my pocket.
Yeah.
And the drug dogs came, and that was it. So I moved back with my grandma, and the only rule was I had to keep going to school, so I ended up on the south side. The only school that would accept me was Port Vita, and it was like, it kind of sucked because I pretty much had to start from scratch because the schools in New York, I went to so many different schools that like shit got lost in between, and I like, where I should have had like 19 credits, 21 credits, like I only had like 4.
Oh, shit.
So I had to start over, but I didn't want a GED.
Yeah.
So I was like adamant about not getting a GED. So I started over. I was doing like credit recovery or whatever. And the first year and a half, I think it went cool, but then I was kind of like burnt out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like older. I'm already like 19, I think, at that time. I wasn't fucking with it. Like, I started skipping school a bunch and to go record around the corner at my friend's house. And they came and tracked me down one day because they get paid off of attendance. So like when I do go to school, like the attendance will start rising throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? I guess they noticed that and like started being on me about coming to school because they get paid off of grants, which attendance. You know what I'm saying? So they asked me why I was skipping so much, and I told them that I was going to record, and they went and bought me all this recording equipment.
Really?
To record at school, yeah.
That's cool.
And I didn't know how to use none of it for real. Like at that time, I think I was recording on like I had bought some stuff to record because I knew how to record myself, but not like I thought I did. Like I really only knew how to press record and record myself. Like I didn't know how to put all the equipment together or whatever. But I knew it could be done because I watched my uncle do stuff by himself for so long. So.
Yeah. So you're self-taught.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Self-taught. And so boom, so they bought all that equipment, but they put it in the principal's office, which was right in front of the school, and it had all these windows, like, like the stuff was right in front of the windows, so I didn't want to use it. But since they did that, I started coming to school. And then towards the end of the year, they found my credits, and I graduated. And then whenever I graduated, they didn't have anybody that knew how to use the equipment.
Yeah.
And I went through some things that, and it got back up to the school, to this lady named Ms. Frankowiak. And she called me, and so what it was I was still on probation, and I ran off on my probation. I've been running from like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like already time to like either like really jump in the street or get a job, and I couldn't get a job. You know what I'm saying? So like I was kind of stressed. And, she heard about like the shit I was going through, and she called me up to the school one day, and I broke down whatever was going on, and she got on the phone and got the number to the county that I was in, to I think it's Caldwell County, for where I got arrested for the weed they found in Job Corps. And she called them. She like, I took off because I didn't want to pay I didn't not want to, so I had some money coming in while I was supposed to be paying my probation fees, and I was like, I'm gonna just pay him at the end instead of paying him like once a month. And then it was at the end, and I went to go report, and the probation officer was like, what did he tell me? He told me like, so if you don't got that money, next time you come in, you might as well just not come in because they're gonna maybe pick you up. And I just listened to him. I was like, bet. And so I didn't report for like 2 years, and then so. Fast forward, when I'm having this conversation with her, she asked me how much the fees were. I asked them. She called. She paid the fees. She got me a lawyer.
Dang.
Yeah, she got me a lawyer. Like she would have somebody take me to court.
Yeah.
The lawyer got it to where like since I already paid the fees, like I just took a drug test, and if I passed the drug test, I was good. I wasn't gonna have to sign for another year of probation, and that happened. And then they ended up giving me my first job out of high school at the school, doing the same thing, like teaching kids how to record themselves, like as an after school program.
Oh, wow.
It was my first job, like $20 an hour. It was cool.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I know that you had like talked about like some of your struggles with like mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and I always bring up mental health. I don't know if you've like seen any of my other podcasts, but I think it's really important, especially for men to talk about, especially men of color.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's such a stigmatized thing in our community, and all communities, right? But I mean, if you don't mind, you don't have to necessarily talk about specifics, right? I don't want to bring anything up.
No.
But
I like to talk about it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but if you don't mind, like kind of like maybe some of the things that you've been through, and then also how you overcame those things, because it seems like you had kind of like a tumultuous upbringing. Like it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
You were all over the place, and so when somebody doesn't have like a solid ground or solid foundation, it's hard because you're grasping for like whatever, right? Or
it's
whoever.
hard to like even Roman, you think you could go get that cup from? I'm dying.
Okay.
Yeah, my got caught in my back. I feel like there's like some of us are like bottle it up, or some of us just don't even know what we're going through. Like,
yeah,
to know that it is a mental health thing. Like for me, I'm bipolar. I'm bipolar too, and like most people don't even know there's different types of bipolar. You know what I'm saying? So like, I didn't know. Like I thought, which like growing up, I was always like, in New York is like the education system's a little bit different, and there's a little bit more resourceful for when you have like when you just need a little bit of extra help. You know what I'm saying?
like mental health issues.
Mental health, learning disability, stuff like that. So like that's one of the reasons that my mom wanted to move back to New York, because I was struggling so much like as a kid, and
when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed like early on. I might have been like 6 or 7, I think. Even younger than that, actually, because it was when I lived with my grandma.
With bipolar disorder?
With bipolar disorder and nonverbal learning disability, which is a form of autism. So, like as a kid hearing those things, like I didn't understand them at all. Like I just didn't like that I was getting treated different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was more frustrating to talk about those things. So even as an adult, as I got older, like I always just said those were like not real things, or like excuses people made for me. You know what I'm saying? Or like I always looked at them more like a crutch, and I'm like really like oppositionally defiant.
Sure.
When it comes to stuff like that, like
yeah.
I don't like to be told I can't do something. I don't like to be.
You were diagnosed with ODD as well?
There's a list of them. But that happened. I got that when I was in this boys' home, and that's one of the like evaluations they had for me. Like,
yeah.
Which it makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's a bad thing either. Like, I mean, I definitely like I'm just somebody that gotta work for himself for the most. I can definitely like get on the clock somewhere when I need to, but like if I'm putting into my own business, you know what I'm saying? That's the only
Sure.
way I've been able to do it and have somebody like I got a bit of an authority complex, but I deal with it differently as an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more appropriately. And so yeah, so like as I was getting older, like I just thought like the real shit was I might just get madder than most people, or you know what I'm saying? Or I might just be a little bit more emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
because a lot of times, especially with men, like that only comes out in our anger, but
Mm-hmm.
because we know how to break shit when we mad. You know what I'm saying? We know how to like the other stuff is harder to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that's not always gonna come out as external as anger. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. Men, do you need that?
Mm.
Men are, that's like the easiest thing for them is um, to just be angry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where women are seen as more like emotional
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
criers and all of
Yeah.
that. Excuse me. How would you describe bipolar disorder for people that aren't aware?
Okay. So like when in 2017, what I was going through was um, like in my music, like before it's for anybody is for me to express myself. You know what I'm saying? So like I just happen to be good at putting words together where you could vibe out to it, but it's self-expression first, you know. So like the minute I couldn't do that anymore, it was like anything I'm going through, I could write about it. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I'm not trying to, like I'm gonna sit down and write a song because I'm mad. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I just express myself like when I'm making music. So I couldn't do that for a while. I just came off like my biggest show ever. I performed at the My Luna Festival. I got to open up for like I think the year I was on it was the day I performed. Wiz and Lil Wayne were the headliners. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was coming off that high, but I couldn't like hold an emotion for more than 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'll be laughing crazy 1 minute, I'll be sad the next minute, I was just cycling through all these emotions like
So you're rapid cycling.
yeah, bad like and I just wanted that to be over and I was already like I was going through it with my girl at the time and I knew that was like probably like the worst thing for me, but it was like I was here alone, like no family, you know what I'm saying? Like so it's like I was holding on to that, but I was knowing that I was gonna have to start that over, and I was like, I've been through so much by then that I was just like I'm usually the person that don't get into like a lot of self doubt or like I don't look at things like I can say like I'm gonna take a couple steps back to take some steps forward. Like that's usually my attitude, but like I've been through so much, I was just exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I don't want to go through this again. Like I'm gonna be fine. I know I'm gonna be fine, but I just don't like. It's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
and I started talking like that. And the minute I started thinking like that, on top of like just emotionally cycling, like it was just out of control quick. I try to kill myself like a couple times, and I was going to get help. Like I would go to the hospital and tell them I was like feeling this way or that way, and I wanted help, and they wouldn't treat me like I wanted help. They would treat me like I was like high off drugs or like something like that. They weren't treating me like a person for real, or taking me seriously. You know what I'm saying? And it got real bad. Like I'm pretty sure I died. Like I I've recently got these covered up. I have scars going from here to here. This one's all fucked up. And I got to that point and I was just sick of it and not really knowing what I was going through either. You know what I'm saying? Or like I hadn't gave being bipolar a lot of respect. I haven't gave like just what it means to have an actual chemical imbalance. I didn't have respect for any of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew I needed help, but the people I was trying to get help from weren't trying to help me for real until this happened, and it was like, okay, now they take me seriously, like, and like, what I hate about the whole system is that it take that, like, it shouldn't take nobody to get there.
Correct.
For them to be taken seriously because it's a serious thing, and that's why we don't take it seriously as men because the rest of the world don't. We're already in that like. Be a man about it, you know what I'm saying? Put your chest out, keep going. or like women are emotional, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when it's really things that we don't got even like a fraction of information on, you know what I'm saying? Like to recognize what we're going through. Like you could tell if I break a bone, yeah, my bone's broke, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I got a cast on, you know what I'm saying? Like you could look the way you look right now, you know what I'm saying? And have the craziest shit going on in your head. You know what
I
I'm
do.
saying?
And I am.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's no sign if you don't give it,
You
you know what
can't
I'm
see it.
saying?
Yeah.
And
You can see physical disabilities or ailments, but you can't see what somebody's internally going through.
Exactly.
I do want to start by saying I'm glad that you're still here.
Thank you. I am too.
And I don't feel bad. That's not the right word. I empathize with the fact that you couldn't get the help that you needed when you needed it, and it took you almost not being here anymore to get the help that you needed. It's really shitty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the healthcare system in general is a little broken depending on
Yeah.
where you go. But there are really good places that you can go, and I'm sure you have gotten the help that you've needed. But it's hard because I don't know, and I don't mean to pry, but if you're not on medication, right, it truly is a chemical imbalance, and so it's hard to navigate through those giant array of emotions because the highs are real high and the lows are real low. And I don't know if you go through the manic phases or hypomanic versus like the depressive. So
Yeah, so I believe, and I could get them wrong. So I believe with bipolar 2, like I can be fine for months, you know what I'm saying, and even years. Like that's pretty much what I went through. Like I managed for years without taking any medicine, without any counseling, without, you know what I'm saying, without knowing what was really going on, because like I mean, like I know right from wrong too, you know what I'm saying. So I'm not like I'll do a pretty good job controlling myself, you know what I'm saying. But
yeah.
But so with somebody with bipolar 2 can go that long time without having any manic episodes or anything like that, or feeling super high or super low, and you're good. And then when it smack you, it's gonna smack you. You know what I'm saying? So like that's another thing is like it's just something that need to be talked about more. Cause like the minute I started having more understanding for what I'm going through, like now I can actually check on myself. Like for instance, when I had moved out to Waco, not to Waco, to Odessa. Well, first I moved to Fort Stockton, then I moved to Odessa. So when I was in Fort Stockton, this is a really, really small town in West Texas. And I started working out and getting myself in shape out there. It was the time that I spent, like, the thing about medicines too is it's a journey figuring out the medicines that work for you. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a minute to find the stuff that worked for me. And those things are hard when you don't got insurance. Like,
Yes.
like insurance is such a big deal, and like quality of life goes. Having some good insurance to change the quality of your life instantly. You know what I'm saying? And losing it to change it instantly.
Yep.
But excuse me. Like, so a lot of those free places is like the help is there, but it's not always as effective, just because, like, I don't know. A lot of times I think as a society we don't use our ears enough and just listen to people. Like the first time I went to go talk to the psychiatrist about the medication I was on at the free spot, I remember I waited like 5 hours, and then when I finally get there, I'm talking to some African dude on the TV. His accent thick as hell. He can't understand me. I can't understand him. I'm trying to tell him, like, I'm good with these medicines I'm on. Like, I don't want to be. I just a couple years before this, I lost 100 pounds. So
wow.
And like locked in the gym, and I think it took me like 7 months to do it. So I was like, one of my things about taking medicines is I did not want to gain a bunch of weight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
So, I'm telling him, like, I'm trying to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be put on something that's not gonna make me gain. I was in the hospital for 3 months. So I came out like 60 pounds heavier. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that out at the same time, and like I wasn't being heard for real. But luckily, the psychiatrist that I was seeing, like, before it got to that, started seeing me with, like, just giving me a break on the price with no insurance, and I was able to start.
It's because there's a difference between first generation, second generation, and for like with weight gain. But it sucks when there's also like a communication barrier of like, hey, I mentally, right, I don't want to gain this weight. And I also busted my ass to lose the weight.
Exactly.
So don't give me something that's going to make me gain. But at the same time, it's like, it's unfortunately just like one of those like side effects with antipsychotics. And I mean, there's ways around it, right? But it's still shitty. And then to not have, you know, like a cohesive caretaker, or not caretaker, but like a form of healthcare and like a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever.
Right.
And a lot of people will say, oh, well, I feel better now, and so I don't need it. But no, you feel better because you've been taking it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
'Cause it's
so,
working.
yeah, like
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
that means it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say you specifically, but in general, I mean, I've had patients that are like, no, I feel great. Like, I think I'm good. No.
Yeah.
No, keep taking it.
Keep taking it,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like, just knowing what it is now, I can check on myself. Like, so like when I was out there, I started, well, my schedule only allowed me, like, I had to be up like way earlier than I had to be at work, and I had to be at work really early. You know what I'm saying? Like, got to be at work by 6, so I got to wake up at 4 to work out. So I'm up by like 3:30, sometimes 2:30, because I wake up earlier than that. And so, and I'm out running and jogging or whatever. And like, when I started reading about it, I think I was reading this book. I got it on my phone, I think. But it was, the book is for, it's not for bipolar people. It's for like your family. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think it's called Understanding Bipolar. And so like, that's when I started learning about the different types of bipolar. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew they said bipolar 2, but I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 is bipolar 1 is when you've been inpatient because of essentially, I don't want to say issues, but because of like I guess like a breakdown, for lack of better words, with your bipolar disorder. So once you're hospitalized and you're inpatient, then it becomes bipolar 1.
That makes sense. So I'm like reading about that, and they're saying like I guess it was about like being manic. So it's like somebody that's manic it literally said, so somebody manic might start running at 4 a.m. like, and I was like, wait.
Am I manic?
Yeah, I'm like, no. But just like having more information and understanding what I'm going through, so I can recognize it, like, oh, okay, like I'm like kind of emotional today. I'm like having a little bit of an episode. But like,
Yeah, and it's not just you. I love that there's a book. I'm sure there are a ton, but the fact that not only you can understand your diagnosis better, but people around you can too. And the fact that you're so open and talking about it, I mean, you can tell like your friend or people you work with or whatever, like, hey, this is what's going on. So if you start to see me change in this way, if I don't check it, do me a favor and like check it. Yeah, tell me.
That's what it's for your support system.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
of course. Do you feel like you have a good support system?
Yeah, I think I do. Like, it helps like being closer. Like this last like 5 years, I got a lot closer to my actual family.
Good.
So like I said, I was here like by myself for years, and like now my sister is getting ready to move to San Antonio, and I've even got closer like to my grandparents too. So it's like I talked to we might not all like just be a big kumbaya family, but like it's a lot better than it was for sure. You know what I'm saying? And definitely, and then I got the best friends in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like
good.
I definitely got people to lean on and talk to when I need to. You know
I love that.
Like,
you need that.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody needs
super
that.
Important. Like,
Yeah.
I have to remind myself, like, especially like when I go work those jobs, like doing the surveying, I do spend a lot of time alone, and I gotta remind myself to like that I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? So like I might be physically alone, but with these things we could do.
Absolutely.
A lot, so.
How do you get yourself through those hard times when you have them again?
Like I said, start with being self-aware, to recognize what I'm going through before anything, so it's not just like understanding like nothing is as bad as it seems like in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And try to just gain perspective on whatever I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Like fight through whatever noise or smoke that I'm dealing with at the time, and just get above the board.
And how did you get to that point?
I had to get all the way down first. You know what I'm saying? Like, and understand like, okay, whatever this thing is, like, I got potential to to do whatever I wanted to with my life. You know what I'm saying? And I got potential to um, use what I've been through to help other people. I could do anything I want. I could be the best at anything. I'd be the best burger flipper. I could be the best producer in the world. I could anything I want. I could be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? But it's this little thing that I can't even see can stop me from getting there. So it's like, let me focus on that. I just spent a lot of time focusing on that. Like I wasn't. I just really worked on me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and like I said, understanding myself, finding love for myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's big. I had not loved myself in a long time. You know what I'm saying? And like getting back to a point where I could like who I am. You know what I'm saying? That was a big part of it because, like, well, I don't know, like I could tell the difference between the way I feel one day to another because I'm paying attention to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just really started with paying attention to it. But it wasn't no overnight thing. Like that's a lot of the things too. Is like a lot of times we want something to be fixed like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to wake up and feel better tomorrow, and then like when it's tomorrow and you don't feel no better, it start getting heavier and heavier because we want that instant gratification, that instant like fix, the quick fix to something. And once I realized there wasn't no quick fix to it, and it was gonna take some time, and it was gonna take like having harder conversations with myself and with the people around me, and like and trimming some fat, like shutting down access to people that didn't need to be accessible to me, the people that are sucking me dry or like taking advantage of my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like get those people away from you. You know what I'm saying? And like I just really like poured into myself for a minute. Is what it took. You know what I'm saying? Like because anything you're going through is gonna start with here. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's about being accountable and like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, just a lot of times we'll look at all the other things that are bad with our life when we don't really want to talk about where it's starting from. You know what I'm saying? So it took that, like, for sure. And that take time. Like, I was in a horrible relationship, both ways. Like, she not a bad person, I'm not a bad person, but our relationship was just bad for us both. You know what I'm saying? For a long time.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to be able to be like, because I did all that work and I didn't want to cut that part of it off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely.
And I thought that, for a long time I looked at that relationship like it was like even when I was just trying to rebuild myself, I thought, okay, if I fix this thing, everything else is gonna come after that. You know what I'm saying? I had to I was doing good things, I was doing the work, but my way I was looking at it was still skewed. It wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so a lot of it, I was like, I gotta fix this thing. So once I stopped worrying about that, you know what I'm saying? And that started getting better, but it was still the thing that it was still the consistent thing and everything else that I needed to do with.
Like everything you're saying, like I 1,000% applaud you because it's not easy to do. And that's the thing people don't realize, getting down to that core of like, where was I hurt? Right? And like, where does it hurt? Where does that trauma come from? Or that, that inner child work, that shadow work, that shit's hard. It is hard. You're going to see shit about yourself that you don't like. And to one piece at a time, fix it and work on it and become self-aware and be able to check yourself and be able to recognize, just like you said, like, I might have like a shit day, but it doesn't mean like everything in my life is shit. Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. Like, and not letting things ruin like your whole day or your whole life or your whole week or whatever. Like, shit's just going to happen. Life sucks sometimes. But to have that mentality of like, okay, like, how do I get through this? Yeah. Because I will. And because, there are bigger things than just what I'm feeling right now. Like, honestly, like, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Like, as a person, as a human being, and especially as a man. And no, please, like, if you're a man, and like, don't get offended, but like, so many men don't do that work. Women too, though. Women too. But it's exactly for what you said, was like, no, man up, like, take that shit. Like, don't, like, don't be a bitch. Like, and that's not it. Like, please, like, allow yourself to feel things, allow yourself to process things. Like, it's okay. I think we all have some form of trauma or hurt, right, that we have to process. you can't just push it back and like drink it away or party it away, you know?
It's a muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a muscle like anything else is. We don't really train that one enough, you know what I'm saying? Unless, like, I don't know, it's just something that's not, like, I wish we could unlearn a lot of this stuff, a lot of, like, those behaviors and start fresh.
And you can,
Yeah.
but it takes a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I mean, like, my fault.
Okay.
I mean, as a fucking,
Oh,
I guess, like, as a
society?
whole society, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the way we treat it, it's not good. It don't seem like it's getting better. But these conversations, definitely, like, more of these need to be had about shit like that. But a lot of people don't want to feel like that vulnerable.
Vulnerability is it's necessary. And I think people are so jaded, and I've said this multiple times, that people are scared of being hurt by somebody else. Like, you can't hurt me more than I can hurt myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly. I've said the worst shit to myself. So anything you say to me, like, all right, cool. I've said worse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Is that good? No. Do I do it anymore?
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
don't. I don't do it anymore. But I've been through shit too. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the things that you said, like, I've resonated with. You know what I mean? Like, even growing up in, you know, a weird household. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that. Without me going into detail, but to get through that and to power through that and to break down those things and to essentially start over as an adult, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I really do. Like, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'll say it again. I really am glad that you're still here. And I hope that, you know, when times are hard, that you can look back on how you got out of that and just keep coming out of that. Because times are going to still
exactly.
happen.
Still,
Yeah.
what? So Roman, me and Roman are like, this is my partner in crime. Like, everything we do is like down the middle, like everything down to the only thing Roman's not always around for is when I'm making the music. Anything outside of that is, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, he's been around for a lot of it, and especially like these last 3 years. But we like, we're workhorses, you know what I'm saying? We're always working. So like the last week of the year, like coming into the new year, like he would go out where I was living at near Waco, and we would just lock in and like shoot like a month's worth of content in like 7 days.
Yep.
type shit. And,
Yeah.
so the coming into this year, like, this year's been crazy, and I knew like the way the year like was starting, like the first and last 24 hours of last year and the hours coming into this year, like, we were just struggling. Like, we weren't having fun. Like, it was just like, it was probably the like roughest like week we had, like, trying to get shit done, and we were just thugging through it. But like, I just remember like the feeling I got was like, this is gonna be the rest of the year. Like, it's gonna be one of those years. And I'm usually right about shit like that, and that's exactly how it's been. You know what I'm saying? But thankfully I did go through all of that. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's helped me have perspective on what I'm going through now. You know what I'm saying? And know that, like, okay, if I could focus on like whatever's in front of me and I hyper focus on that, and I let that throw me off my game,
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss all these other plays that I got, other places on the board,
Yep.
because I'm focusing on this one thing that's not working bad, or this one thing that's in my way from getting to where I want to go. So like, no, just calm down, get above the board, and look at what's actually going on. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
as long as I can keep doing that, I'll be good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure. I think this year has definitely been a year of change for everyone. Like, a year of transition, like new beginnings, cutting people off, cutting things off that like no longer serve you. And I've seen that in almost everybody around me. And so I know it's like not just a me thing. I mean, we just met, and you're going through the same thing. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that means for you, whatever change is happening, you went through the past few years of ups and downs and all that to get to this year. And this year is fucking hard.
Yeah.
This year is about like lessons. But that just means next year is going to be like on and popping for everybody.
Exactly. I'm looking at like, we get through this one, we're going to be good.
Hell yeah.
Like, my brother's in the NFL right now. He's playing for the New Orleans Saints.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Congrats to him.
Like, he's in his fight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, this is where I'm like, damn, we're like, literally, it's been crazy like the last like 5 years, because we both been fighting for our dreams like harder than ever. You know what I'm saying? And seeing it and getting traction on them, and you know what I'm saying, like the things that keep you going to keep chasing your dreams.
Yeah.
And it's just the fight's only gonna get harder, and
Yep.
it's kind of cool, like peeping his, because like the world gets to see his. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and
But they'll get to see yours too.
yeah, well, it's like fucking and the people in my world are seeing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what matters to me.
Yeah.
But it's just like but I'm watching with the world, so it's different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it makes me want to go harder on my fight. So like, it's definitely like, yeah, one of those years, a lot of lessons, and like, well, this year, this might been my first like with my ex, it's been my first like solid year, like no communication, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Good for
hard.
you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of her too. We usually like fold and like end up in some shit we don't need to be in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything is different about this year. You know what I'm saying? And, but I was just telling our friend Rizm, I was like, it's like this because the reward for getting through this is gonna be crazy. Like I'm knowing, you know what I'm saying? And just even like a lot of times, and we think about whatever that reward is, it might be something like big and grandiose that you got in your head. Mine's just saying I got through it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
because it's another like something I could tally off that like I got through it, and I didn't like. There might be areas I'm struggling in, but I ain't struggled through it. I strided through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. And like being able to say I did that is goal enough. But the things on top of the things that I'm working on is just like, okay, like we ready for whatever's coming. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I think this week alone, I've said it like 1,000 times. I'm like, it's fine. I'm just gonna thug it out.
Yep.
I'm just gonna whatever it is. I'm gonna thug it out. Like,
hey, you know, it's so funny. That's like my motto about everything, and like literally like. Those exact words.
Yeah.
To where like it was a while ago, but you'll just be thinking about some silly shit you did, and they asked me at a job interview how I got through diversity or something like that, and I told her she just stuck it out, and I was like, damn, like that needs to be on a skit or something, because I still got the job and I don't know how.
Oh my god.
She was like, I like that, thug it out.
Yeah. We should make shirts.
Yeah.
We'll go half.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true though. Like I don't feel like there's another option. Either you give into shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just become like super sad and like, like wallow in it, or you thug it out and then you're like, fuck it, let's go. Like,
yeah, it's all about your attitude.
For sure.
Like I've been able to turn my being oppositional into focusing on things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? And
I love that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That's really hard to do. Like you said, you have a list of diagnoses, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. As long as you're aware of it and you know how to get help, when to get help, that's all that matters. But a lot of people aren't familiar, I don't think, with ODD either. So for you to be able to flip that for like on a positive note, like for the best, man,
I appreciate it.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
You really are.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know it's a work in progress, and it will be forever. We all are, though.
Yeah, that's what I had to learn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you can fix. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a broken TV or like.
Yeah, there's not like a pill you can take and you're
exactly.
healed.
You don't fix it. It's like, okay, how do we, knowing that this is what we're going through, like, this is what we're up against, like, how do we just get through it? You know what I'm saying? And like, positively, you know what I'm saying? Like, so once you know what I'm saying? Everything be perspective.
For sure. Yeah. So we'll go back to your music for a little bit before we wrap up, if that's okay. Unless you want to, I mean, I could say I'm mental health all day. Right. But how would you describe your music? Like what genre and like what kind of like beats, I guess, or like maybe an artist that you can compare to?
So like I said, I'm like real expressive. So it's like whatever I'm going through. So it might be my attitude against something or I don't know, it's just usually just my inner thoughts and they just jam. It's like like production wise, it could go from like some harder, grittier trap sounding stuff to some like indie sounding stuff. It just depends on like what type of mood I was in that day. like the music I've been working on lately, um, like I said, I just got a relationship, a long relationship. So it's a lot in there about that. It's like a lot of like, I think it can be really motivational on both sides. Good workout music, I've been told that for sure.
I need more, so send it to me.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'm gearing up to drop like a lot of music
Nice.
right now. So, like this, whenever I was in Waco, I worked on a lot of music. So before, like I get so caught up in like creating music that it would be hard for me to do anything else because I would just be so focused on making music. So this is the first year I was like once I kind of changed my mindset, like where I can kind of compartmentalize and be like, I gotta be everything, right? Like I gotta be, if I look at it on the music end, I'm my producer, I'm my engineer for the most part, my writer, I'm everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like on the other side, I get some help from this guy, you know what I'm saying? And, but I've used to wearing multiple hats, and once I was like, well, when it comes to like, I had came across like investors and people that helped me do this or that, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. But I was like, you gotta be like, instead of just waiting on something, just go. And I was able to do both this time. I was able, because before it'd be like when I first started working, well, one, I had a super hard time keeping a job.
Mm-hmm.
I might have went through like 9 jobs for real before I found one that I could stay at. And literally that's because all I had to do is like hit shit with a sledgehammer at first. And then my next one, I just was able to get more into it, but I wasn't making any music. Like the whole time I was in West Texas, I didn't make any music because I knew once I start recording, it's gonna be curled. Like I'm gonna wake up one day and be like, no, I'm gonna just work on this. Or before I'll tell myself like, I was just trying to do myself a favor because I'll wake up and start working on something early in the morning, and before I know it, I'm 2 hours late for work if I play. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I wasn't set up. I was like, took the focus on one thing at a time approach. So I produced every day, but I wouldn't record any music. And then, so once I kind of fell back into like just doing the one thing once I did start recording, because that's what I was used to. So when I might have need something and not had been able to pay for it, like musically, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, I do everything else everywhere else, so I'll be my own investor too. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, I love that. So a question that I ask artists is like, if you can close your eyes and picture like either a scene or a feeling or wherever, and your thought is that like, this is it, like I made it, like what does that look like for you?
So I don't know. I don't know what I'll be satisfied with.
Okay.
To be honest, if I'm being for real, because like I don't want to be famous. I don't like people enough to want to be famous. Like,
Fair enough.
If I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to be able to pull up and this is my personal feeling. Like I'd like to be able to tour like all over the world, and maybe 500 to 1,000 people at every show, but I could still be at home and go to the grocery store and nobody know me, or you know what I'm saying? Not everybody know me. Like,
yeah.
Cause that should just seem like, I can't imagine with my anxiety. Like I already don't like when I had to get into like coming from where I come from, like people look at me too hard or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I deal with that now. Like I'm way better about it. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people could be weird too. Like people that see you and know who you are just stare at you instead of saying what's up. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, they might be your biggest fan, but they're just gonna be like this the whole time, all weird. And I had to learn that. You know what I'm saying? Not walk up to people and check them like, hey, what you looking at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it goes back to compartmentalizing. I'm a business, like, so it's like when your art is your business, it's like,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta figure out how to navigate that. Everybody gonna figure out how to navigate that for themselves. But that's what I want, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think you can get one without the other most times. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't know the moment where I'll be satisfied to like, cause I've had moments, you know what I'm saying, where like I've like my show that I'm planning for the fall, I'll probably sell like 700 tickets to it, 500 my bottom line. Like we sold like damn near 200 tickets in 4 days in January. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not the most. That's just building my community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the most popular artist here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even got 700 monthly Spotify listeners. I sold more tickets to that show than I got Spotify listeners. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's wild.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But numbers don't like. So my goal with this show that I'm working on is to get people to stop getting so caught up in their numbers. You know what I'm saying? And because it don't always reflect one way or another.
It's true.
You can have fucking 30,000 followers and you got 8 comments. You know what I'm saying? It don't
That's
mean
because
shit.
people buy their shit too.
Or exactly. Or you can have even if you got 5,000 fans and you got real 5,000 fans, but they don't spend no money. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got like 5,000 people that like to steal from you for real. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really about being able to like one, like know your market or build your community that supporters or fans that actually are gonna pop out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, I'd rather have that than I look good on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and so that's kind of my goal with this show I'm working on is cause I'm like, damn, like I think my first show I put together for myself, we did it was maybe like in 2013. It was $1 to get in. We made like $230.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a gift I got, is to be able to bring people together.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like using that, because I've had moments that I can say like, damn, like a lot of people at this moment might say they made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know when I can go a year without wanting for nothing, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody around me can want for nothing. That's probably when I say I made it.
That's a good answer. Okay. It's a very different answer than I've ever received, but I like it.
Real? What's the like?
I mean, most of the time it's like, oh, I want to do like, I want to sell out like the Frostbank Center, or I want like to, I don't know, be in a backyard with my family and friends. You know what I mean? Like it looks different for everybody, that level of success, you know? So no, I love that.
Appreciate it.
How do people find you and your music, or book you, or I don't know, whatever?
My music is under Bamsworth Belly on all platforms. My Instas are all the same at Bamsworth, or my socials are the same at Bamsworth, BAMSWORTH. And Belly is BELLI, not a Y. Yeah, on all platforms. My next project release is gonna be on this new platform. It's called Even. Have you heard of it?
Called what?
Even. Even.biz. So what that platform is, it's like a proud to pay platform. So it's a streaming platform like Apple Music or Spotify.
Okay.
But now, like an artist like me, I could put my project on there for $20, or I can put it for like you decide what to pay. You know what I'm saying? You could pay $1 for it if you want it, or you could pay 50. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think they take like, opposed to like a regular streaming platform that I'm getting like a 16th on a penny for every stream.
Yeah.
Like, I think they might take like 15%.
Okay.
Of, each off of $20. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
whatever price I put. So it's not. But it's goes towards that, just like putting the art out there, and if you want to pay for it, you can pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And like, we're gonna see how that one works. I'm excited for that one. This will be my first project putting on there. So
Nice.
it's a fairly new platform.
And when is that gonna happen?
I'm not gonna play myself and say a date, but
Okay. Soon.
Yeah, I'm looking to in the next 2 months. So what I was getting at a second ago, when I was in Waco, I recorded like, which is a lot for me, like over 60 songs, I think.
60?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot for anybody.
Yeah, in a year. Well, I know some people, I don't like just compare myself to people, but like I know every artist has a different process, you know what I'm saying? And I've, like as an engineer, I'll record a artist that might come through and do 9 songs in 4 hours, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like usually if on a decent month, I might get 3 or 4 recorded, but these ones I was having batches of like 6 and 7, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like not too many like throwaways either too. So I got 4 projects complete right now as far as like recording. 5 actually, because I have a group project. It's the most music I've ever had loaded up. So I'm just working on getting everything mixed and just showroom ready, I guess, you know. But,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the only part. We're shooting visuals almost every day to them, so it's coming. It's not. I've got a lot more free with just like being ready to like just let it go, and not hoarding music, because I went through that. I went through that more when I wasn't recording a lot of music and I wanted to hold like what I had. Now I'm just like, and I'm ready to like just being expressive in my music. Like I'm not gonna run out of stuff to talk about because life always gonna life. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
like makes me want to get that stuff out faster.
Yeah.
So I can have room for more. Because now it's like, even with our visuals, like last month we went through to like go through and start scheduling content, and just videos we had to drop in last month was, we had like 250 videos.
Wild.
You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that was edited already. Like,
That's crazy.
Drop and redrop. So it's like, on his end, I know that shit gets overwhelming too. So it's like the more we put out, the easier it is on us at that point.
Yeah.
Get shit out the way.
That's awesome. Well, super proud of you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear it. If you need me to help or be a part of anything, let me know. I'm happy to.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Definitely need that. Oh, and the only other thing I needed to shout out is, can I plug my studio?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody that needs some work, I'm also engineering at Diamond Mine Studios right now, which is partnering with, for my smokers, Black Diamond dispensaries. So you can go in there and get some tree legally, you know what I'm saying? Give you a sticker, you can make it home with it and everything. You get pulled over, you still be good. But you got all the flavors, pre-rolls, anything you can think of, you can come get it legally and safe. And if you need to book a session to make some music for yourself, you can get some. If you're a smoker, you don't even got to worry about riding to the studio with it or nothing. You can buy it at the studio. So come holler at us or holler at me or Dino at Diamond Mine Studios, 2635 Calabria.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Culebra and 1604, 410.
Calabria and General McMullen.
Sheesh.
It's right in the hood.
Yeah.
Right on the west side.
All right. Cool. Well, congrats on everything. Super excited for you. Thank you for coming, for being on the show.
I'm glad I finally made it.
I know.
Damn, I'm like, we can't not make this one. I done canceled 3 times already.
Yeah. It's okay. So is there anything you want to say to friends, family, fans?
Love y'all. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey.
Peace, love.
Yeah, quick and easy.
You know what I'm saying? If you got something you need to talk about, check on your people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to talk about somebody, to talk about something, you know what I'm saying, to somebody, like, don't feel like you can't, you know what I'm saying? If you don't got, you might feel like you don't have anybody that wants to hear that, but there's resources for people that just sit there and listen to you talk to. So it's like, I know we all need something, and it's all just, a closed mouth don't get fed. You might have to look for it on your own, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing your progress. Guys, thank you for watching, for listening, and again to Bob Pod Media for housing and producing, and to Latina Podcast Network. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.